Hello everyone, this is Outlaw here, and today I want to talk about Shamans in Classic and Season of Discovery that is coming out on November 30th, and exactly 7 days from here. And just a quick overview over talents, over rooms. If you guys prefer, I can do a quick rundown on the loot table from specific dungeons if you guys want. Starting off with the runes here, guys, we have chest runes, hands runes, and leg runes. So each rune will be all the rooms will be available at launch. You can get the rooms through a different method. So some of them you can get through quests, some of them you can get through chests, some of them you can get even through dungeons. So just a quick rundown of the rooms here. We don't have any specific data mining on where to get them, how to get them, what's the drop rate, things like that. So yeah, we will be blind until launch probably. So just a heads up. Starting off here with dual wind specialization, increase your chance to hit with both spells and melee attacks of 5% while dual wielding, and your storm strike hit with both weapons. So for those that remember, this was added in Burning Crusade. And one of the things that this leaves the question is if weapon sync will still be a thing once this comes out. I wonder if people will find a way to sync the weapons just so they don't lose flurry procs. We have Healing Rain, which apparently it's a bit different from what we have in retail at least. So instead of you have the control of where you're going to drop your Healing Rain, this apparently you just is a target ability. So you target a player, you cast Healing Rain, and it drops the area or the puddle on top of that player, right? So if you want to stand on top of it, you will get healed basically. Overload, same thing as retail. It just procs. It has a chance to proc other abilities, and it's interesting. This part, the most interesting part here is the fact that it can proc Healing Wave, which is basically Ancient Heal, of course, which is the Shaman span abilities. Shoot Mastery for tanks, amazing ability. Each time you block, you generate more mana equal to the maximum, and you get armor equal to 30% of the value of your shield armor. So and it stacks up to 5. You always gain 10% increased chance to block and 15% block value. As we all know, early game you don't have that much block value and chance to block. So having this flat already as soon as you spec this rune is actually really potent. So hand runes right now, we have Lava Burst, same thing as retail. If you have Flame Shock on your target, Lava Burst your crit. This was introduced in Wrath of the Lich King, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a really fun ability, especially in PvP. Lava Lash, same things as well. You have Flame Tongue on your offhand. Remember, guys, offhand, always Flame Tongue. And it will make your offhand deals 100% more damage. And it's fire. We have Molten Blast, which is the tank ability, basically. You blast a cone in front of you, generating a high amount of threat. And the flame shocks that you have ticking, they have a chance to reset this cooldown, right? So really interesting mechanic here. Especially, I think the intention of the devs on creating this was instead of spamming Earth Shock to generate threat, you're spamming this ability if you get a reset, right? Going through the last one here, lag runes. We have Ancestral Guidance, simple, converts 25% of your damage into healing to party members. And if you're as a healer, convert 100% of your healing into damage on those targets that have Flame Shock in them. Earth Shield here, guys, same thing as TBC, reduces the damage that the target takes while they have three charges and heals them for 100. I think the difference between TBC and this one is just the value here. If I'm not mistaken, TBC was 150 or 200, something like that. And in Classic, SoD is going to be only 100. Shamanistic Rage right now, probably one of the most busted abilities. Reduce all the damage that you take, so basically a defensive cooldown. But the best part, generate mana every 15 seconds. According to the values of your attack power, spell power, and healing power. This was added in the last build, last week actually. Your party members have a 40 within 40 yards. they will receive 10% of the mana that you receive. So you're basically giving mana to everyone, if depending on the amount that you generated with it, right? So let's say you're zero mana, like we used to do in TBC, right? You're zero mana, you pop Shamanistic Rage, and you are full mana in like 3 seconds, 5 seconds. It was really, really strong, right? Last but not least, we have Way of Earth. Rockbiter on your main hand generates more threat. You gain a flat 30% more health, and you take 10% less damage, and reduce the chance that you get critical strike by melee attacks. And like I mentioned before, Earth Shock now taunts the target, right? And it has a separate cooldown, which is a really tricky here, and actually really good because it can do damage. Remember the mechanic of like using Flame Shock to reset the cooldown of Molten, and now you have a different cooldown for Earth Shock, right? So you have a specific taunt that doesn't share cooldown with all the other shocks. Let's do a rundown of the elemental talents right now. Remember, guys, we only have 25 points to work with, so we have to be really specific on what we want. The tools that we can bring to the raid specifically, we can do like a leveling and then a raid talent, just so we have like a base of how we can achieve the maximum output with each class. And down at the bottom here, we can see the abilities that we will have up until the level 25, right? So as Shaman, I think during leveling, you want the cost, you want more damage, right? You can get the crits, right? I think this, you're already at level 25, right? You already have 15 points. So last point to work with will probably be the elemental focus here. I think this is the go-to for the raid. Now during leveling, it could be probably similar to this. If you're struggling with mana, I think you can drop Call Thunder and go for Arcane Ancestral Intellect with maybe Ghost Wolf if you want to drop these, or you want to drop one here just to get Ghost Wolf to have a smooth leveling, right? But I think primarily, I think 5 points on Ancestral Knowledge is really good. You never go starve, especially if you get Shamanistic Rage, right? Mana is never going to be a problem every 20 minutes. You can always go with Water Shield, really specific. You're always getting hit, right? So this can be a huge value. Overload as well. You're probably not going to use shield that much. So I would go this for mana, right? If you're having mana problems. If you're not having mana problems, I think you can go straight to the raid talents here that I showed you guys. I think this is the most optimal way. About the combination of runes here for Shaman Ali, I think Overload's the go-to, right? I don't think there's any other talent here that is that good. Maybe if you get this for leveling first, yeah, if you're using a shield, but Elemental Overload is primarily the best chest rune. Right here, I think Water Shield if you're having mana problems, but 100% going Lava Burst here is a huge amount of damage. Especially, I think Lava Burst in Wrath had like a 6-second cooldown, so you're casting frequently. You know, it's not like a 20-second or 15-second cooldown. You're casting this very frequently. Yeah, I think mana problem, output damage. Yeah, that's the difference. It's up to you guys. Last one, lags. I think there's not a big of an option here. If you want to bring utility to the group even more, you go with an ancestral guidance here. But remember, right now, Shamanistic Rage also brings the group buff or mana in this case. So probably Shamanistic Rage 100%. This during 11 is going to be insane, guys. Like, reducing the downtime of sitting, you know, having to drink every time you pull. The difference here is going to be amazing. Now, if you go a rundown on enhancement shamans, I think the go-to here. 5 mana, of course. 5 on Thunder Strikes. In my opinion, I don't think we're playing dual wield until we get to level 40 because we don't have Storm Strike either way, right? I think it's completely useless. You see, we don't have Storm Strike. Storm Strike is all the way in the bottom here, so we are not getting it. In my opinion, I think we're playing dual hand here. I think this is the talent that I'll go for. You get 1 point in flurry here just to get a proc, and you're playing 2 hand here. I think a good mace that I can think right now on spot is the mace from Dead Mines as well. They smite mace, you know, the really slow mace. I think it's 3.5. That gives a lot of strength. That mace, if you get him, is going to be really, really huge. And remember, during this time, the first raid, druids will be able to bring Wind Fury. Okay, so remember, you don't have to be 40 to get the Wind Fury proc. So yeah, I think this will be the ability. And even for single for leveling, I think this is the go-to, the mana for single target here. Now, the problem is this sounds like a dead talent. I think if you want to go Shield Master until you get a really good 2-hand here on the second one, on the second row of this is hands. I think Lava Lash will probably be the best one, right? I don't think this is specific for tanks. If you're running low mana every pull, you know, running Water Shield can be actually really valuable as well. And then if you have 100% that you're going to run Water Shield every time, you can actually drop the Lightning Shield here and put on Wolf, right? And put the last talent on Flirt. So you run Water Shield instead of running Lightning Shield. But I think for the raid, Lava Lash is the go-to. Flame Tongue, you already have Flame Tongue, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you get Flame Tongue. Early level, actually. Yeah, you get Flame Tongue. Level 16. 18, sorry, rank 2. So you get the value of Lava Lash having the extra bonus. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple, Shamans. The biggest difference here is the 2-hand. I think once we get to level 40, then we will have a big difference in damage then, because we will be able to run dual spec, dual specialization. Yeah, until level 40, I think enhancement shamans are going to use 2-hand. As for Rasto here, I think the safest option, cast mana. I don't think you want any of these, right? I don't think you have to go to any of these. If you want 5 points here, if you want to bring a little bit more utility, totems, right? More the range of your totems are higher. Maybe 1 point here, or even if you want 1 point on Wolf, right? Oh, of course, don't forget we have Unk, which will be available, right? We don't have like any hardcore rules on Season of Discovery, so yeah, I think this is the most optimal way. Mana, reduce cast, reduce mana cost, and range on your totems. And this, the last point, I think is more situational, right? If you want to reduce the cooldown of Unk or Wolf, up to you. Now, regarding to runes, I think Healer Rain here will be really, really situational. I think during dungeons, if you're healing solo, is going to be really valued, especially if you have a lot of melees in your group. But Overload is probably going to be the go-to. Remember, we don't get Chain Heal until level 60, guys, but we get Healing Wave until level something. What's the Healing Wave? Yeah, so see, Healing Wave level 5, rank 5, sorry, level 24. So right after, like really close to the level cap. This is going to be huge if you get a proc, right? Especially in single target. Now on hands, I think Water Shield. If you want to go for a more offensive option, because let's be honest, healing in classic, it's really slow, right? You can count on your finger uh, the time that your tank will take damage. So if you want to abuse of the that time and the downtime to do more damage, you can go for this. Or if you want to play safe, water shield for the passive mana regen. Last one, I think, if you're in a raid group, or if you have already a shaman healer in your group that are running Earth Shield, I don't think it's worth running another one. Shamanistic Rage has a solid value, you know, full mana again in like 5-10 seconds, depending on the value of your healing spell power or attack power. Earth Shield is really situational. I think on a 5-man dungeons, this could probably work. So regarding to loot, guys, I think Shadow Keep and Dead Mines will be the go-to dungeons to go get some pre-raid items, right? I think this ring right here that drops from Baron, it's really good pre-raid. I think this shield here is probably gonna beat our Abyss pre-raid. It also drops in Shadow Keep. These are all bosses drops, right? There's only one quest item that I think it's worth mentioning here, right? So this is shield. The other one was a ring. This is a healing staff if you guys prefer spirit over intellect. And this right here is the ring from a quest inside Shadow Keep. And so I think these two dungeons will be the best ones. Dead Mines, you can get the shield, but the problem with this shield right here is that Minor Drone is a respawn chance, right? It's not 100% that it will be there, but in case you drop it, go for it. Don't wait for the other one. Taskmaster, as I was saying, for enhancement shamans, even though it's an axe and you have the 5% hit bonus, I don't think it's really that worth compared to Smite, right? Look at this weapon, 3.5, 11 strength. This is just absurd if you get it. And this is the stuff that I was mentioning for Ellie. If you want to go for this one or the spirit one inside of Shadow Keep, right? You have Odos or you have the Emberstone staff. Go for it. I don't know what you prefer. I think the 5 stamina is really huge as well.